Hello everybody, this is Salar and you guys are welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. In this course, we are learning C Sharp step by step. In our last lecture, we learned to code generic methods and that was our last lecture on methods in C Sharp. As we have now very good understanding of methods in C Sharp, it's time to move on. The programming tool we are going to cover in this lecture is called Tuple. So let's see what tuples is and how we can utilize it in our code. So our topic in the lecture is couples. Here we have the code from the previous lecture. Let's remove the code, clean the code file. And now, tuple is a special programming tool, and I think most of the languages have tuple. I never used tuple in JavaScript, so I'm not sure if JavaScript has tuple or not. But C Sharp, Java, and I think Python, all of them have tuples. Using tuple, you can create a group of multiple values, either of same data type or different data types. You can then assign that group of values to a single variable. Let's first learn the syntax of the tuple. How do we create tuple in programming or especially in C Sharp? And then we will code some practical examples. In order to group tuple values, we always use a small parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, we put several values. Values are separated by a single comma. For example, the first value is a string value, my name, and the second value is also a string value, my second name, and the third value is an integer value, let's say number 90. This is called tuple literal, which groups the values. Now this literal need to be assigned to a variable. Let's say our variable name is values. Values is the name of the tuples variable and these are the components. Now the question is, how do we tell the compiler this values variable is of tuple type? If we had a normal primitive variable like a string, so we would have written like this, a string in the beginning or integer like this. But here, the case is different. A single variable has three values and they can have different types. So to tell the compiler about the values, we create a group of data types and put them in the same order as we have on our values. For example, a string, and integer. So here we are going to create a group of data types, string, and integer. This is how tuple is created in programming, more specifically in C Sharp. If I put another value here, let's say I put a boolean value, true, and a character value, C, I must update the data type list to the left in the same order. A single value containing 5 values of 4 different data types. This tuple is now ready and it can be used. However, this syntax of creating tuple can be further simplified. Instead of having a list of all the data types in the same order, we can use the keyword var. Keyword var is a special keyword in C# which is used to initialize a variable based on the assignment. For example, if I have a variable like this, using the integer keyword, I am telling the compiler in advance the type of the number variable is integer. But if I change the int and put var instead, now the data type is decided based on the assignment value. Value is integer, so the type would be the integer. If I assign, for example, string, the type of this variable would be the string. So we can get the advantage of the var keyword in this case. So we can also write var. Both the lines are actually doing the same thing. This is explicit. We are doing this, and here we are letting the compiler do the same thing. That was all about how to create tuples. The next thing here is, how do we read out the values? The compiler automatically assigns item x type index to each value. Here x, it starts with the 1. For example, the first value here is Sala is item 1. The second value is item 2 and so on. And I think the item is with the uppercase letter I. Now, for example, if I wanna read out the first value, I will call my tuples values item, and here comes all the valid values I can use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have 5 components. So item 1 is the address of the first value. We try another value, values of items 5. Let's run the program and check the output. You will see Salar and C in the console. And here you see the output, right? Salar and C. And when the item index is invalid, you will get a compile time error. You won't be able to compile your program properly. For example, item index 6 is an invalid syntax. You can see the error indication and it's a compile time error. It simply says the tuple does not contain a definition of item 6, right? Now, if you do not want to use this default naming like item 1, 2, 3, you can name your values in the tuple as you like. For example, first name, and here we will put a caller. So value Salar has now identifier first name, and we can even access this component or the value using this name. Now, for example, instead of item 1, I can write first name, and you will see the same result in the output. The same way you can assign a name to all the components. That was all about the creation of the tuple and accessing the values. Now we will talk a little bit about the usage. The most common use of the tuple is to get multiple values returned by the method. You know, a method can only return a single value. In order to get multiple values changed or updated by the method, we use reference or out parameter. We do not get any return when we use reference or out parameters. We only get our values updated. But with tuples, we can have a method that can return multiple values. Let's have an example of that in comparison with the out parameters. In a program, we have three variables: integer a with the default 0, string b with the default empty string, and bool c with the default false. Now we write a method which will initialize these variables using the out parameters. So the method's definition would be look like static void fill these values out integer a, out string b, and out bool c. And now we can initialize our value. Let's say the integer value is 100, the string value is hello, and the boolean value is show. We can now call the methods here after the variables, fill these values, and can pass all the values out A, out B, and out C. Now after this calling, our variables will definitely be initialized and will get these values. So we simply got our values updated, but there is no return. The tuple can make the difference and we can have a return of 3 values. So a method with tuple return gonna look like here you see a method with tuple return. Method's name is return 3 values. It takes 3 parameters, initializes all the parameters, and then returns the tuple or all the values. Calling to this method is also very straightforward. We are gonna receive a tuple. Let's say we do not know the structure of the tuple we are going to receive. So the best option here is use the var keyword. So I'm going to use the var keyword, var tuple values, and now I will call the method and pass out values a, b, and c. And now in the console we can print out all the values, tuple values, item 1, item 2, and item 3. Let's now run the program and you will see the values are initialized by the tuple method. In the output, you will see 100, hello, and true. And so you see the output, right? 100, hello, and true. So this is a very common use of tuple in programming to get multiple values as return value. Now we know what tuple is and where to use it in the code file. It's now time to wind up this lecture, and in the next lecture we will study null-level types, another very important concept to learn and understand. I will see you there. Thanks for watching this one.